Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Awesome news. They confirmed Planet Hulk Warbound for Thor Ragnarok, so I'll explain what the director said. If you're new to the channel, I do Marvel videos every week. I'm doing a Spider-Man giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. So I'm going to play this clip from the trailer just for context. I have to change the audio just for licensing reasons. Led Zeppelin is not what you would call YouTube safe.
It's main event time.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Most of you probably know that a large portion of Thor Ragnarok is inspired by Planet Hulk from the comic book, so I'll explain a little bit of that story because that's where the Warbound group comes from. There have been a bunch of changes from the comics, but there is a gladiator arena that they're all forced to fight in. A group of them band together out of mutual respect, and just because they're all badasses, the Hulk eventually gains their respect through his victories and through their mutual sense of honor, and they become warbound and later follow Hulk as he goes for his revenge during World War Hulk, which was the comic book arc that came right after Planet Hulk. So I'll explain those storylines and how that fits into Thor Ragnarok the movie, because they're not doing the entire Planet Hulk story and some of the characters have changed. What you don't see in that clip are the warbound characters that were confirmed by the director. So the director himself said that he had a cameo as Korg. He's a member of the Kronan race, the rock-looking people, the one that Thor beat the crap out of during Thor the Dark World, if you remember that.
All yours.
Hello? I accept your surrender. Anyone else?
So what he said is that during the movie, he serves as a warm-up fight for Thor before he runs into his friend the Hulk. So you can kind of see the progression here. It's like a video game. He works his way up through a couple minor battles, then all of a sudden he has to fight their most deadly warrior, their most popular fighter, and out pops the Hulk, and he's like, oh my god, yes, you get this reaction. In fact, as funny as that seems, who wants to lay bets that a different version of this scene actually made it into the final cut of the movie? They're editing it right now, but just because you see something in a trailer doesn't mean that it's going to end up in the final cut of the movie. So the same thing happens with the Hulk during the Planet Hulk comic book storyline. He slowly fights his way up to bigger and badder fighters, but the other big warbound character that was confirmed by the director in the movie was Meek, who's a member of the Brood race. So if you've read Planet Hulk, you're like, wait a minute, are they going to do the Meek storyline? Even if they're only doing part of Planet Hulk, is he going to be some kind of crazy traitor? So the Meek character is kind of a tragic figure in the Planet Hulk storyline. The planet they're fighting on in the trailer, that's accurate to the comics. It's ruled over by this warlord called the Red King that just forces them to fight for everyone's amusement like a Mad Caesar. If you're not familiar with the Mad Caesars, they're really fun if you're a big history buff. But eventually, Spartacus style, if you haven't seen that movie, that's another great movie too. He fights his way up the ladder in the arena, gains everyone's respect, the respect of his fellow gladiators. There's a big coup, and he seemingly liberates the planet. There's an accident, he witnesses the death of his wife and child, or he at least believes that they're dead. While he was on Sakaar, he fell in love with a fellow gladiator. They had a child together, but when he witnesses their death, he decides to take revenge on the people that he believes are responsible, which he thinks are the Illuminati. So he goes back to Earth, and that becomes the World War Hulk storyline. The maddest you've ever seen the Hulk, and the madder he gets, the stronger he gets, and it is a limitless thing. He even seems like he eats a couple of Earth's heroes as he's ripping through them like tissue paper. So this whole time, the Warbound have sworn allegiance to him and his cause. But it was all part of this big turn where Greg Pak and the Marvel people wanted to pit Hulk Hulk against his friends. So that's kind of what's happening in here. You're getting a little bit from World War Hulk and a little bit from Planet Hulk where he has to fight his friends. So if you wonder why that is, it's because they explained that Hulk has been on this planet fighting in the arena for a long time, ever since the end of that first Avengers film. So we're talking more than a year. That's enough time for him to win the respect of all these people, become this crazy gladiator, and it's gone to his head. They call him a god of Sakaar. He is the world breaker Hulk, just completely crazy, even though they changed the Red King character to the Grand Master, who doesn't really come off as that evil. Jeff Goldblum does not seem evil in the trailer, so in the comics, the Red King was very sinister. The Grand Master is more of a cosmic game master. He just cares for really good games. But the other members of the Warbound in the comics are his wife Kara, the one who ends up dying, Eloy, Hiroim, Korg, Meek, who are both in the movie like I explained, Archie, and Mung. So not all of them survive, and obviously the director only confirmed Korg and Meek, so there could be other Easter eggs for the other Warbound members. But I don't think they're going to be doing Hulk's wife. I don't think they're going to be doing Hulk's son Scar, although there'll be a lot of conspiracy theorists after the movie comes out, like, he was on Sakaar for a long time. There's a pretty good chance that one of these women out here could be holding his Hulk child. But we've established that Hulk just keeps getting madder and madder. He's been on Sakaar for a long time, so it's gone to his head, so he is in full-blown warrior mode. But the fun part of this is that Thor is so powerful as an Asgardian, just his own natural physiology makes him that much stronger, that he can soak a lot of Hulk damage without getting crumpled into a soda can like any other person would. If Hulk were to punch a normal human being, they would explode like a watermelon. But Thor does experience a version of this rage that you see in the Hulk's eyes. It's called Warrior Madness, where they just go completely out of control. They actually did it in Unworthy Thor, where the version of Thor who's lost his hammer, he's become unworthy, finds that the ultimate Thor's hammer from a different universe is available, so Beta Ray Bill comes to help him out. He's being held captive by the Collector. Thor just completely goes nuts and frees himself from this electric prison. This is how much damage he can soak. You have to remember that the Collector has some of the most advanced technology in the galaxy, so if anybody were to touch these bars, they would get fried in an instant. So as he sort of hulks out, breaks out of prison, he goes into this warrior madness and starts thinking to himself, I feel that berserker rage take control of me, feel my mind consumed with wanton wrath, feel my friend's throat being crushed beneath my hands, and God's help me, I do not care. So just look at the look in his eyes here. This is what's happening to the Hulk in this moment right here. In real life and human history, Vikings had a version of that. There was a warrior trance that certain warriors would go into by drinking a special concoction. You have to imagine drinking, say, like 10 Red Bulls at the same time with a bunch of alcohol, so your adrenaline and your pain tolerance is cranked way up. You just don't feel as much damage, and you just send them into battle like a one-man wrecking crew, like steer clear because he's going to be swinging at anything that comes into his field of vision. So that's what's happening to Thor here. That's kind of what's happening with the Hulk in the arena. So in this scene, it does seem like Thor has his wits about him, like he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to fight my friend here because he's gone completely crazy. But while moments like this happen, Thor does really get into it too, but we haven't seen that many Thor movies where he's gone super crazy, I think just because they don't want to scare children, but this is what he looks like when he goes completely off the chain, so hopefully we'll see a version of this in the movie, but they did say that they were leaning more on comedy in Thor Ragnarok, so if you're a big Planet Hulk aficionado, just be sure to look out for more Warbound Easter eggs, and let me know in the comments, do you think that they'll work the Red King in as an Easter egg in the background of the movie because he's such a big antagonist in the comic book? In Planet Hulk, the storyline is so important for this movie. You feel like they try to work in as much stuff as possible, but there's all these things coming together from the comics in this moment here. You have Grandmaster, Jack Kirby, Celestials, Eternal stuff going on in the background, it's very cosmic stuff. Then you have the slightly more grounded Planet Hulk Gladiator storyline with him being forced to fight in the arena, he and Thor battling it out, and then the more Thor elements of the movie where you're actually going up against Hela and the Ragnarok stuff. So if there's any Marvel movie in Phase 3 besides Infinity War that has the most Easter eggs from the comics, it's probably going to be Thor Ragnarok because they're drawing from so many big iconic things. And that doesn't even get into the idea of Thor reforging or getting a new version of his hammer. Do you think they're going to reforge Mjolnir as is, or do you think they're going to reforge it as Ultimate Thor's hammer with the axe on the back of it, and it'll be like an extra hardcore version of the hammer that he's been using? So just think about that and then look at this Infinity War concept with him next to Rocket. He's wielding an extra big version of what looks like the ultimate Thor hammer, but you don't get a good look at it. So I think they're trying not to be too spoilery, but that's still speculation at this point. I have a feeling they'll do their best to keep a new hammer out of any of the trailers because at some point he does have to get a version of the hammer back. So I know a lot of you have been asking for an Infinity War video for Scarlet Witch and Vision because they've been filming a bunch of scenes. I'll try to get that out sometime this weekend, but there's a Black Panther footage video that I need to do. They showed off a whole bunch of footage and they just wrapped that film, so I'll post that video on Saturday. Congratulations to the latest Spider-Man giveaway winner, Sharp Shot. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. While you wait for that to post, you can click here to learn all about Adam Warlock and the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, and you can click here for a brand new Game of Thrones promo breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. Let's high five. I'll see you guys in the next video.